Glenn Villeneuve, a name that resonates with fans of Life Below Zero, became a standout figure on the show, captivating viewers not only with his survival skills, but also with his unique philosophy on living off the grid. Known for his fearless adventures and deep connection to the Alaskan wilderness, Glenn quickly established himself as one of the most memorable personalities of the series. But what happened to Glenn after he left the show? What is the real story behind his departure from Life Below Zero, and where has his journey taken him since then? To understand the true essence of Glenn Villeneuve, it's crucial to look at his beginnings. Born on March 18, 1969, in Burlington, Vermont, Glenn's early years were far removed from the noise of city life. Instead, his family lived in the woods, fostering a deep connection to the natural world that would shape Glenn's life in profound ways. From a young age, he demonstrated an affinity for the wilderness, and his education was anything but conventional. Homeschooled by his parents, Glenn received more than just academic lessons. His education focused on the critical skills needed for surviving and thriving in the natural world, from understanding weather patterns to identifying local wildlife and plants. These lessons would lay the foundation for a life deeply rooted in the outdoors. By the age of 9, Glenn was already climbing mountains. While most children his age were still figuring out how to ride bikes or play sports, Glenn was mastering mountaineering, taking on the challenging peaks of Mansfield in Vermont. His determination and physical capabilities were impressive, as he tackled the toughest terrain with the skill of someone much older. Yet Glenn's love for adventure wasn't confined to local peaks. At just 12 years old, he embarked on an ambitious journey with his uncle, trekking from Massachusetts to the Canadian border. Although they didn't complete the journey, it was an experience that fueled Glenn's insatiable desire for adventure. By 13, Glenn was already demonstrating remarkable independence when he convinced his mother to let him return to finish the journey solo. Glenn's early years were shaped by an almost rebellious spirit of adventure, combined with a keen sense of survival. He may have embraced some aspects of modern life, such as television and the internet, but his heart always belonged to the wilderness. He was skilled in hunting, fishing, and crafting, abilities that enabled him to live a life that many could only dream of. These formative years set the stage for his later ventures, including his role on Life Below Zero, where he would captivate millions of viewers with his profound connection to nature and his unconventional approach to survival. Glenn Villeneuve's path to Life Below Zero was an evolution of his desire to break free from society's constraints and live on his own terms. Fascinated by the Alaskan wilderness, he made the bold decision to leave behind the trappings of modern civilization and embrace a life in the rugged heart of Alaska. It was here, deep in the wilderness, that Glenn carved out his own existence, one that aligned perfectly with his long-held philosophy of survival. It wasn't long before his distinctive approach to wilderness living caught the attention of the producers of Life Below Zero. In 2013, Glenn made his debut on the show, and from that moment, his life would be forever changed. On Life Below Zero, Glenn quickly became an invaluable asset to the cast. While other cast members focused on the daily challenges of surviving the harsh conditions of Alaska, Glenn offered a different perspective. For him, survival was not simply a matter of overcoming obstacles. It was a fluid, ongoing process. Glenn viewed survival not as a series of trials, but as a continual flow of experiences that required constant adaptation and respect for nature. This perspective resonated with audiences, and Glenn's segments quickly became some of the most popular on the show. He introduced viewers to the concept of living in harmony with the wilderness, rather than struggling against it. This philosophy not only set him apart from his peers on the show, but also earned him a devoted following of fans who appreciated his calm, philosophical approach to life in the wild. Throughout his time on Life Below Zero, Glenn was involved in several incredible events that demonstrated his mastery of wilderness survival. One of the most memorable moments from his time on the show occurred during a solo hunting trip for caribou. Glenn's journey took him deep into the wilds of Alaska, where he faced the dangers of crossing treacherous ice in pursuit of his prey. His skills as a tracker and hunter were put to the test, but his quiet determination and respect for the land shone through. This episode highlighted not only his survival abilities, but also his deep connection to the land. A connection that viewers found both captivating and inspiring. Another defining moment in Glenn's time on the show came when he was attacked by a pack of wolves near his cabin. While many would have panicked in such a life-threatening situation, Glenn remained calm and composed, responding with strategic thinking to ensure his safety. This incident highlighted his ability to make quick, decisive choices in high-pressure situations, a skill that was critical for anyone living in the wilderness. It also reinforced Glenn's reputation as a man of action, someone who could remain composed under pressure, unlike many who might be overcome by fear in similar circumstances. What made Glenn's portrayal on Life Below Zero so compelling was not just his survival skills, but his philosophy on life in the wild. Unlike other cast members who portrayed survival as a constant battle against nature, Glenn's approach was one of coexistence. His segments often focused on sustainable living, how to live off the land without depleting its resources. He showed viewers how to forage for food, how to construct sustainable shelters, and how to work with the rhythms of the natural world rather than against them. For Glenn, survival was not about fighting nature. It was about learning to live with it in a way that was respectful and mutually beneficial. Audiences loved watching Glenn as he progressed throughout the show, appreciating his deep knowledge of the land and his ability to solve problems in creative ways. His segments were often seen as an invitation to experience life in the wilderness in a more thoughtful and sustainable manner. Glenn didn't just survive the wilderness, he thrived in it, showing that it was possible to lead a life in balance with nature, free from the destructive cycles of consumerism and environmental degradation. It wasn't just Glenn's knowledge of survival that made him a fan favorite. It was his charisma and unique outlook on life that set him apart from the other personalities on Life Below Zero. Where other cast members were focused on the hardships of wilderness survival, Glenn showcased the beauty and peace that could be found in nature. He viewed the wilderness as a place of wonder, a space where one could connect with both the natural world and the spiritual world. Glenn's segments conveyed a sense of romanticism about living off the land, an idealized vision of life in the wild that resonated deeply with viewers. His ability to turn the wilderness into a place of peace, free from fear and danger, made him one of the most beloved characters on the show. Glenn's time on Life Below Zero was marked by his distinct approach to the concept of survival. Unlike other cast members who emphasized the physical and mental struggles of living in the wild, Glenn framed survival as a philosophical pursuit. His approach was rooted in respect for nature, and his teachings went beyond practical skills to include deeper lessons about sustainable living and environmental stewardship. His contributions to the show were invaluable, and his segments offered an authentic, unromanticized view of life in the Alaskan wilderness, one that was grounded in realism, respect, and reverence for the earth. However, after years of captivating audiences with his survival expertise and philosophical insights, Glenn Villeneuve eventually made the decision to step away from Life Below Zero. His departure from the show left fans with questions. Why did he leave, and where has his journey taken him since? While the reasons for his departure remain largely personal, it's clear that Glenn's decision to leave the show was not one he made lightly. His time on Life Below Zero had been transformative, both for him and for the audience. But Glenn's journey did not end when the cameras stopped rolling. Today, Glenn continues to live a life that reflects his commitment to sustainability, self-sufficiency, and respect for the natural world. He remains a passionate advocate for environmental conservation, using his platform to promote sustainable living practices and educate others about the importance of preserving our planet for future generations. Though his time on Life Below Zero may have come to an end, Glenn's influence continues to inspire those who share his love for the wilderness and his desire to live in harmony with the earth. In the years since leaving the show, Glenn has continued to push the boundaries of his own adventurous spirit, embracing new challenges and exploring new horizons. His journey is far from over, and while fans may no longer see him on Life Below Zero, they can take solace in knowing that Glenn's story is one of resilience, courage, and an unyielding commitment to living life on his own terms. The wilderness on his own terms. His departure from Life Below Zero in 2019 marked the end of an era for the show, leaving behind an indelible mark on fans who admired his unapologetic authenticity and fearless approach to life. However, Glenn's exit wasn't just a loss for the show. It was the natural outcome of the tension between his boundless independent spirit and the structured world of television production. While Glenn's unorthodox approach made him an incredibly compelling figure on Life Below Zero, it also led to frequent clashes with the producers and the crew. From the very beginning of his time on the show, it was clear that Glenn had a different vision for how his segments should be portrayed. His goal was always to showcase the true, unfiltered beauty of living off the grid, a life that emphasized harmony with nature and the profound sense of freedom that comes with being deeply connected to the land. To Glenn, survival wasn't about a constant battle against the elements, but about embracing the natural world in all its wildness, learning from it, and living alongside it. However, the producers of Life Below Zero had a different approach in mind. They wanted to focus on the struggles of wilderness survival, highlighting the harsh realities of the environment and the constant fight to stay alive. They believed that sensationalizing the danger and adversity faced by the cast members would engage viewers and generate higher ratings. This difference in creative direction created a rift between Glenn and the producers, with Glenn often pushing for more authentic philosophical content, while the production team wanted to deliver a more dramatic and action-packed narrative. One of the most striking examples of this tension occurred during a winter shoot, in which Glenn made an impromptu decision to venture out into the wild alone. This spontaneous move, though in line with his adventurous spirit, disrupted the production schedule and left the crew scrambling to figure out how to protect him. Glenn's desire to explore the wilderness on his own terms often created logistical challenges, as the production team had to adapt to his unpredictable actions. While these incidents showed Glenn's genuine passion for exploration and survival, they also highlighted the difficulties of working with someone whose approach to life and work was so unconventional. Glenn's relationship with the rest of the cast members was also affected by his rebellious nature. The harsh conditions of Alaska meant that the cast members often had to rely on one another for survival. This created a tense environment where differences in approach, whether in hunting techniques, survival strategies, or general philosophies about living off the land, could lead to conflicts. Glenn's independence and individualistic approach often clashed with the more collaborative approach taken by some of his fellow cast members, leading to disagreements both on and off set. Another point of contention was Glenn's tendency to take unnecessary risks, which often put him in dangerous situations. His approach to survival was characterized by a daredevil mentality, something that made for riveting television but also raised concerns about his safety. One of the most dangerous stunts involved Glenn tracking a wounded bear alone, a risky endeavor that could have had disastrous consequences. While this moment made for thrilling television, it also left the production team on edge, wondering if Glenn's reckless behavior was becoming too much of a liability. Despite these challenges, Glenn's time on Life Below Zero was a period of immense growth for both him and the audience. His portrayal of survival was far from the traditional grim struggle that many of his co-stars embraced. Glenn presented a different side of wilderness life, one where challenges were met with respect, a sense of adventure, and an understanding of the deeper connection between humans and nature. His unique philosophy on living off the land resonated with viewers, many of whom admired his authenticity and passion for sustainable living. However, the creative differences between Glenn and the production team reached a boiling point in 2019. By this time, the tensions between Glenn's independent nature and the needs of the show had become increasingly difficult to manage. His desire for creative freedom and his tendency to take risks that others found too dangerous were no longer compatible with the structured environment required for the production of Life Below Zero. Ultimately, the decision was made to part ways with Glenn, marking the end of his time on the show. While Glenn's departure left a noticeable void in the show, it also allowed the producers to refocus on the safety and cohesion of the cast and crew. As a fan favorite, Glenn's exit was undoubtedly a loss for the show, but it also highlighted the inherent challenges of blending real-life wilderness survival with the demands of television production. Glenn had always been a free spirit, unwilling to compromise his love for the wilderness in favor of scripted drama, and his departure was a reflection of the delicate balance between creative vision and practical reality. In the years since his departure, Glenn Villeneuve has continued to embrace his independent lifestyle, living in the wilderness on his own terms. While he may no longer be a regular fixture on Life Below Zero, his legacy as a fearless adventurer and a true wilderness expert lives on. He remains a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit that many people dream of, but few are brave enough to pursue. Glenn's journey continues beyond the cameras, and though fans may no longer see him on the screen, his impact on the world of wilderness survival remains undeniable. As for Life Below Zero, the show has continued to evolve, but Glenn's departure serves as a reminder of the challenges that come with capturing the true essence of survival. It also underscores the complexity of balancing authenticity with the demands of entertainment. Glenn Villeneuve's time on Life Below Zero may have ended, but the story of his incredible journey is far from over. His legacy as a man who chose to live life on his own terms, in harmony with the wilderness, will continue to inspire future generations of adventurers and survivalists. The reaction to Glenn Villeneuve's departure from Life Below Zero was swift and overwhelmingly emotional. Fans of the show, many of whom had come to admire his fearless spirit and rugged lifestyle, were left shocked and disappointed. It took a moment for them to fully grasp the reality that the free-spirited wilderness survivalist was no longer a part of their weekly viewing experience. His authentic portrayal of life in the Alaskan wilderness had struck a deep chord with viewers who admired not only his survival skills, but his unwavering commitment to living on his own terms. As news of his exit spread, the outpouring of support for Glenn on social media was immediate. Fans took to platforms like Facebook and Twitter to voice their discontent over his departure, posting heartfelt messages of gratitude for his time on the show and expressing their desire to see him return. The connection he had built with his audience was evident as they rallied behind him, sharing stories of how his approach to life had inspired them to embrace the wild, take risks, and appreciate the simplicity of nature. It was clear that Glenn had touched the lives of many, and they were not ready to say goodbye to him just yet. Despite the backlash from fans, the producers of Life Below Zero remained resolute in their decision. They acknowledged Glenn's unique contributions to the show, expressing their appreciation for the authenticity and depth he brought to his segments. However, they also emphasized the importance of maintaining the safety of the crew and ensuring the continuity of the show's overall direction. The producers issued statements thanking Glenn for his 6 years of dedication and for being an integral part of the series. But they also made it clear that, due to the ongoing challenges in working with Glenn's independent nature and the creative differences that had developed over time, they believed it was necessary to move forward without him. Glenn, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, took to social media himself to address the situation. In a candid post on Facebook, He revealed that he had been informed that the producers had no intention of allowing him to return for subsequent seasons. He expressed his frustration with the lack of communication from the production team and what he perceived as an unfair decision, given his significant investment in the show over the years. Having been a central figure in 85 episodes, Glenn felt that his departure was abrupt and devoid of the respect he believed he deserved. In subsequent interviews and podcast appearances, Glenn elaborated on the circumstances leading to his exit. He spoke at length about the creative differences that had become increasingly evident between his vision for the show and that of the producers. While he was committed to showcasing the real-life challenges of living off the grid and in harmony with nature, the producers had become more focused on the drama and sensationalism that they believed would keep viewers engaged. Glenn's desire to present an authentic philosophical approach to survival clashed with the producer's emphasis on raw, survival-based conflict. This divergence in creative direction only heightened tensions and, ultimately, contributed to his decision to leave the series. One of the most talked about issues surrounding Glenn Villeneuve's time on Life Below Zero was his risk-taking behavior. A man who had always approached survival with an almost daredevil mentality, Glenn believed that to truly connect with the wilderness, one must be willing to embrace danger head-on. To him, the wild was not a place to be conquered from a distance, but a realm to be intimately explored and understood through direct engagement. His approach was simple: throw yourself into the wild, face its challenges, and thrive in the most extreme conditions. However, this fearless approach to survival did not sit well with the producers of Life Below Zero. They had a different perspective on what the show should portray. For Glenn, every risky decision, whether tracking a wounded bear alone or venturing deep into the Alaskan wild without any backup, was an integral part of his survival philosophy. These were not reckless stunts in his mind, but necessary actions that proved his skills, resourcefulness, and ability to navigate the harshest environments. But for the producers, Glenn's willingness to take such risks posed significant safety concerns. The show had to strike a balance between showcasing authentic survival skills and ensuring that the cast and crew were not put in danger. The tension surrounding Glenn's risk-taking behavior became a central point of contention. The production team had to consider the safety implications of Glenn's actions, especially given the unpredictable nature of the Alaskan wilderness. There were moments when his bold decisions sparked heated debates behind the scenes. Could the show continue to push the boundaries of survival without risking a tragedy? Should the show portray the raw, unfiltered reality of wilderness living, or should it prioritize safety and focus on a less dangerous narrative? These questions were not easily answered. While Glenn's actions made for compelling television, they also increased the possibility of accidents that could have jeopardized the integrity of the production. As the debates raged on, it became increasingly clear that the difference in philosophy between Glenn and the producers was not something that could be easily reconciled. While Glenn felt that his way of surviving, pushing the limits of what was possible, was the essence of what made his journey authentic, the producers were more concerned with creating a controlled environment where safety protocols could be followed. This divergence in vision, though subtle at first, eventually led to Glenn's departure from the show. Despite the controversies surrounding his exit, Glenn's life after Life Below Zero has been nothing short of impressive. In fact, his departure from television marked the beginning of a new and even more dynamic phase in his life. Far from fading into obscurity, Glenn proved that his resilience and adaptability extended far beyond the boundaries of reality TV. He ventured into new territory, transitioning seamlessly into the world of real estate and the stock market. His strategic investments have helped him build a financial portfolio that allows him to remain financially independent while continuing to live life on his own terms. This shift into business might seem like a departure from his wilderness roots, but for Glenn, it was simply another manifestation of his survival instincts. Just as he navigated the treacherous landscapes of Alaska with confidence and skill, Glenn applied the same approach to managing his investments. His natural ability to assess risks and make shrewd decisions has allowed him to diversify his interests, ensuring that he remains financially secure while also pursuing his passion for adventure. Whether he's venturing into the wilderness or navigating the stock market, Glenn has demonstrated time and again that his drive for success knows no bounds. Yet despite these business ventures, Glenn's love for the wilderness has remained at the core of his identity. While he may no longer be a regular presence on Life Below Zero, he has not abandoned the lifestyle that made him famous. Glenn continues to head back into the Alaskan backcountry, honing his survival skills and exploring the rugged terrain that he has always held dear. His connection to the wild remains unshaken, and his ongoing adventures serve as a testament to his enduring passion for nature. Through his social media channels and podcast appearances, Glenn keeps his fans engaged and connected to his life off the grid. His content is no longer confined to the cameras of Life Below Zero, but instead reflects a more personal journey, one where he shares insights on survival, sustainable living, and the challenges of living in remote areas. He uses these platforms to offer glimpses into his world, allowing his audience to see how he continues to live in harmony with nature. Whether he's discussing his latest adventures, offering tips on self-sufficiency, or talking about the importance of respecting the environment, Glenn has found a new way to connect with the people who supported him throughout his television career. In this new chapter of his life, Glenn's journey has evolved into something that goes beyond the realm of television. He is no longer just a character on a reality show. He has become a symbol of resilience, independence, and the enduring spirit of the wild. His willingness to take risks and challenge the status quo has only made him more relatable to his fans, many of whom admire his commitment to living authentically, without compromise. Glenn's philosophy of survival, rooted in respect for the natural world, continues to resonate with audiences who share his belief that life in the wild is not about avoiding danger, but about embracing it with courage and skill. Glenn's post-TV life also serves as a reminder of the power of reinvention. He has proven that it's possible to transition from one phase of life to another, even after leaving behind something as significant as a television career. While many would have struggled to find a new purpose after such a high-profile role on Life Below Zero, Glenn has thrived, applying the same principles of self-reliance and determination that made him a beloved figure on the show. He continues to be a source of inspiration for those who look to him as an example of how to live life to the fullest, regardless of the challenges one faces. As he moves forward, Glenn's impact is clear. His journey has transcended the world of reality television and become something more profound, an ongoing story of adventure, resilience, and the pursuit of independence. Fans may miss seeing him on their screens, but they can take solace in the knowledge that Glenn's journey is far from over. His passion for the wilderness, his drive to live authentically, and his ability to navigate the complexities of life with courage and adaptability will continue to inspire people around the world for years to come. In a world that often prioritizes safety and comfort, Glenn Villeneuve remains a reminder of the transformative power of nature and the importance of living life without compromise.